Hey everybody. Today we're going to look at a game I played against a 3-dan bot. Most of the stuff I've shown you in other videos is me playing against 10Q, 5Q, 3Q, this kind of thing, where I should win easily, but the point is to show the thinking. I seldom play at this level because it starts getting, I have to focus, and I don't do that well, being an old guy. But here we go. Let's look at the thinking. Again, I should win easily and do, but far more complex. So this is aimed at, 1Q on down, 1 dawn on up. Okay, let's look. Here we go. I'm the Blackstones. All commonplace. Here I use the modern, which is this one. AlphaGo says this is always good. So I get used to it. Here's some choices. I went away, which is one choice. And I do that because my favorite YouTube guy, Dr. Baduk, he plays away a lot on this, and I'm trying to learn it. But let's look at another idea. Let's say I keep pushing. Let's start with why should you push or not push? Because it's Sente. Why not play here and then play away? Well, the idea is this is a very strong move. I might want this later for the top, right? It leads to this move, which would now be alive. Very strong placement here. So you don't want to start removing that, making white stronger there, unless you've decided that's, important. So that's why I wouldn't do this right off. But let's take a look. Okay. Black is very strong. No thoughts of being surrounded. No trouble for a long, long time. So easy for black. Next, dropping down here is quite large. And I don't want to say it's Sente, but white's starting to see only, 10 points or less in his little group there. So if white responds, I'm going to put it here. That's not the best place, but I want to show that there's a lot black can be doing out here, since he already has his center position there. I mean, white's going to play up here instead, and we're going to have this, but still. So this seems very reasonable, and I might prefer this. I would prefer this, since I don't like having weak groups, but that's my excuse. This isn't a weak group. It feels weak to me, which is why my tendency is to stay here and make it stronger. But Dr. Baduk says not weak. AI says not weak. So I played away. This is another move I'm getting used to. I'm old style, of course. Getting used to this move. And white immediately presses. Okay. White's getting weak on the left, defends. And now I have to decide, is my black group okay? Well, I generally consider if I have 3 options for health. Well, I can go towards 1, I can go towards 2. I'm not counting 3 as a shape point because he can take that away in, dare I say, Sente. It does make me stronger, but I'm not really counting that one. So option 3 this way, maybe a 4th option playing away, playing to the right. I seem to have a lot of options, so I decided I'm okay. Where to? White's built a wall, negate the wall. Nice corner, negate white nicely. Get ready for that cut works, right? If white tries to ladder it, I cut through. That's pretty nasty. And if he just, does some fix, then he's cut. Now it's not time. I've actually tried this a number of times, this fight early. It's never gone well for me. Basically, because as I'm defending here, now I have to defend on the left, and it never gets me anything. But anyway, that's me rambling. We're back here, and white plays here. Okay, he's removed one of my options for health. I didn't like coming out because absolute gote. I'm not bothering anybody. I'm not threatening anything. I'm not taking points. It's just pretty much dumbing. I didn't like that. So I thought it was a good time for my shape point. Now I have an eye with many options for another eye. One must ask, am I comfortable here? The one eye's real. Seems to me I didn't do a lot more than glancing here and thought, yeah, second eye should be easy. There's lots of options. It was harder than I thought, but that comes later. Next area, white's building the bottom. Take that away. I use modern style, just live easily. So Fujiseki here, there's lots of thoughts about this is best to be negating the center. But I played my favorite one, and we'll look at why it's my favorite. Love this move. Life, points, undercuts white, gives me enough liberty so he can't cut me. And there's more coming. Okay, if white doubles Anes, this is the question. I don't like responding because what white's getting is really big and thick. So what do you do? Well, just ignore. So let's ignore here just for the sake of argument. If white takes, play one more sente and play away again. That's why I like this. I get to play away twice, and white's still left with various cuts, and I have a very strong, solid corner. So that's some of why I like this Joseki so much. White went this way instead. I don't want him turning. He doesn't want me turning. Okay, I'm fine with a good amount of points. He has the Moyo. So we're going to work on that. Where do we start? That's the question. Well, our J2 has special qualities, and that is his turn is absolute gote, which means this move is totally safe. Can connect under, to the left, to the right. It can go up, very strong stone near a bunch of white. So that's why I thought I'd play there. White comes in. My worst nightmare. Hate this stuff. Let's look at something else. If here, oh, that's stronger. Really? I mean, white's simply going to live here. Yeah, black scoop's going to be okay, but all the points leave. There's just Aji here. Okay, how about now? Cleans up the Aji reasonably well, but no, that's a stupid move. It's not doing anything other than it's like playing here. It's like too slow. Okay. So this seems to be the best option. I knew it was thin, and white says, you're right, it's thin. I'm going to mess with you. And now, we don't want this sort of thing. White's getting too much in the center, obviously. So and we don't want this fight. Yeah, I'm getting thick to the center, but again, white's going to live easily. White can escape. White can live in the corner. Too easy on white. So I come up. Seems obvious. Now, let's remember that me, not only as an amateur, but as a not particularly strong amateur, I don't know what to do, when to do it. All I rely on, which has gotten me pretty far at my peak, clear thinking. That's my goal, and that's why I try to share ideas and stuff like that. So hopefully you can see my thinking. Not that my moves are best, not that my moves are particularly good moves, but they should be consistent, clear thinking. That's my goal. Here's a bunch of options, what to do. So the issues. I have my A group, which I'm not saying it's real weak, because I can connect to the left, I can kind of connect to the right, I can connect over on top on the right, I can run out. It's not like it's horribly weak. His B group is the weaker one. Okay, so we want to keep pressure, or rather attack the B stone, the B group. What else is going on? Well, he's got 2 stones near my very thin corner. He could even give up 2 stones and take the whole corner and not be bad. It was just, so I thought, if I peep here, that should give me that corner for the most part in Sente. And now I can reassess how I feel about my 2 black stones. I still didn't like this. Right? What am I going to do? I have to capture. We walked through. I can't let that happen. So then what? Run out? Yeah. Run angled? Sure. There's all these ideas of running out. Granted. But there's various connecting under, cutting through, because he's thick here, right? He just made thickness. And these moves I'm showing don't respect his thickness. So I went this way. Now, if he tries this funny business, notice I'm no longer cut. So my move really helps my cuts. It gets close, it gets into his area, which I like. It starts messing with his cut at A. Now I can't cut yet, but that definitely is coming up. So this seemed right. Now let's remember, the word seems isn't a very strong word. A little bit of reading, a little bit of insight, a little bit of I hope. White gets out. And now we have a big question. Do I let white surround me? Well, we have to admit, we don't like that. It's getting white's, the right side is getting big for white. This might not be Sente, but my corner is going to end up to be about 10 points or less. We do not like this. What else do we not like? This kind of move. True. There's far too much for me to do reading here, especially with any accuracies. Too many options. So I decided that if I just play strong, not weak, don't go for points, a growing move, leaving a cut, I'm going to need to fight. Let's play a strong fighting move. You can't do anything against me now. And I should be able to handle the center, even if it's a matter of him cutting me giving up the whole thing, and I just reduce from the top. Something should work now comfortably. Yes, that's vague, but a lot of, in strong level, a lot of it is guesswork. Like, well, I don't know. Seems to me this, seems to me that. But when you see, seven Dons play pros, all of a sudden the seven Don is just falling to pieces. Okay. I thought connecting now, because I can now connect under without him cutting me. It strengthens all my options. Okay. He comes up. And now my option to the center, to the left side center. Let's clarify that. This option, which gives me real thickness to fight with, to run with. I feel like I can do more than connect under now. Well, he just took that away. If he stops me from connecting under, I don't have that thickness to work with. I didn't like that. So I decided, let's connect under now. If he captures the one stone, and I'm just putting a white stone down to say capture. Yes, he'd do it on a bigger scale, but I'm just saying, if this, that's smaller, and I can still chase his group. So feeling okay about that. This doesn't feel like the best move to me, but it's one that I felt I could trust. He comes up, taking it the biggest way possible. And now, I actually felt good here. Why? Well, my A group looking good. I feel good about my A group, very solid. My B group, oh, very solid. All the important things to me settled. What about him? Oh, does he have cuts? His A cut will soon kill him. He's got a little BC action, which is coming into play. A cut here, cut here, cut here. You've got cuts everywhere. So you see why I'm feeling good. I'm strong. He's weak throughout this. So push. Come up. I do not want to worry about see the liberty problem coming up for black. Yeah, I'm going to win it, but he's going to be able to fight back. I don't like this shortage of liberties. So I thought now's a good time for this forcing move. Absolutely forcing. And when he fixes, it doesn't help him. It makes him Dami Zamari, a shortage of liberties. I push again. He's about to die. Right? Dead. Okay. So he has to do something. A little bit of reading here. Because if we go black, white, he's having a chance now. So a little bit of reading shows that if I sacrifice my two stones, which he has to let happen now, that I capture here, which is very big, but he does get his main group somewhat settled in Sente. Okay, from here, there's more to look at. From here, how do I feel about my open skirt? Right, that's an issue on my mind. Well, if I kick and do whatever, this spot really bothers me. There's stuff going on here. We're not talking about what works and doesn't work. I'm saying black has weaknesses here that I find disturbing. So when white plays this move, I'm thinking, let's thicken up and Sente. I like getting thick. Okay. Now that I'm thick, reassess. That's not bothering me at all. I can ignore that and still have the whole corner. So that really felt good, getting thick in Sente. So now I can kick and not feel any question about it. Time for another decision. When he hits the open skirt, he gets a perfect little extension. In Sente, that's kind of big to get in Sente. That means I ignore and I get 2 moves away. Possible. Although one wonders just exactly where my 2 moves would be, but still possible. So let's look at where my first, if I was going to play away. A lot of you know this, a lot of you don't. Let's look at the invasion. Okay, assuming I split, which is necessary. He starts to get out. Now there's a cut there. If he says, are you going to defend the cut? And I say yes, then my corner's gone. If I say no, I'm not going to defend my cut, I'm going to kill you instead, then I have to be prepared for this battle. Okay, so a common way for black to avoid all of that is to save the cut. Let's double check that. There's no cut there anymore. I kill, there's no counterplay. Also, this also saves the cut. They're both common. On this board, this one feels good. Notice I'm hurting his 2 stones. And then let's say, well, we know I can cut. Well, let's just put it here. That's big, but this is not small. So there's some questions what to do here. I decided on this move, closing my skirt in Sente. Attacking white. Feels good. Is it right? Feels right. We'll see. We won't see. I will have no way of knowing. I don't plan on asking AlphaGo. White comes in. White's losing the game, so white's like, okay, let's get aggressive here. No choice on that move. He plays all the obvious stuff. And I do have a choice here to not get cut. Looks like this. Let's have him live. And then start attacking. Very possible. This is not a bad idea. But I just like keeping things simple. Well, it's not simple, though. It's hard. I read a lot of it out, but still. So what I read out is white's got 4 liberties. I have more than 4 liberties on both sides. Did I read out that tricky plays and in all the upcoming fights, I will still have 4 liberties or more? No, there's no way for me to do that. That's way, way over the top reading. Can't do it. So this is me again, hoping like it seems fine. White agrees, so white tries this way to get a bunch of extra liberties. Double Atari, capture. And now notice I have 4 liberties. I don't have a lot of liberties. Get this group out. Get out. Now I have to decide which side to save on, A or B. Logically, it would seem B, because that's the weaker stone. And B may be fine. I decided A. A lot of times this is very critical. I decided A because if he Ataris me, he just dies. So this is absolute sente. The other one, not absolute sente. So he comes out. Then I get my liberties. Sente. Get all the liberties I can. And now I can now go and kill the corner, and that's fine. But there's another option. He is full of weaknesses here. Do I have time? If I'm wrong, I die. Do I have time? Yeah, for sure. Because they're basically just sente, sente, sente. Sente 1, sente 2. That's the aji. Cut. Little bit of reading. And then we realize this Atari come out in sente. This Atari, and he's dead. Wasn't that nice? So his last hope, kill on the left. This is where I went wrong. I've never faced this shape before. I didn't reassess. I played what I had been planning on playing. Bad habit. Don't play on what you planned. Reassess each time. If I would have reassessed, I would have noticed that, yeah, that's a dog's face double knight, usually pretty strong. It's not necessarily an eye, and it is a cutting point. What I did was I added a knight's move to it. Now I have 2 knight's moves. He can cut and kill the corner. That's not big enough to win the game, but it's weak for black. I can play this way, nice and strong, and I'll get my second eye. I can play this way, fixing my knight's move, and get my second eye. But I went this way. Mistake. Lots of things. Let's say, for instance, he just double honeys. Atari and kill. Uh-oh. Big trouble. So I would have to, instead of that, play this way and give up. Give up the whole corner and get a small group instead. I'm still ahead, but it's just weak on my part. Computer let me have it. May have seen it because this is a little thin too, right? It does live, but it's a little thin. And it is pretty small life. And that's where the bot resigns. Okay. Hopefully that made some sense. You got to see some clear thinking, some ideas of how do strong players generally go about all this amazing reading and all these decisions that have to be made. I've asked a lot of pros and a lot of very strong amateurs about how they think these things through. And for the most part, they don't. They read part and the road looks clear. Looks clear. Oh, I remember seeing this before. This should work. Very seldom, or I've read it all out in all directions. Just very rare. Okay, that's me rambling. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all another time.